Welcome to ASAP Wrestling Hour. I got Nate the Great and I got William Morgan with long hair. I referee show the right on nick of time. Take it over, Nate.
All right.
He got right in there, didn't he?
All right. So actually, let's start off. Let's start off with Raw. Raw first. Raw started off with this battle royale, tag team battle royale. The winner being the Viking Raiders, and the Viking Raiders will go off and face AJ Omos either next week or Hell in a Cell. I don't remember that part.
Let's see here.
I thought it was Hell in a Cell.
Okay. Yeah, it's in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about that match?
Well, I think they could have done something a little bit different. I mean, I'm glad the Viking Raiders did it because I think it's time for them to start pushing for a belt or be up in that limelight because they've been off the camera, on the camera, off the camera, and I think they're a very good tag team, and I think they're big enough that they can settle a competition for AJ and Omos. Omos and them have been battling the New Day, who are smaller wrestlers, and then you had Elias team, that team they broke up with Riker. That was a very good team anyway. So I think this is going to be one of their stiff competitions this time because you got two big, bully, masculine, big guys getting, not in tight height stature, but in weight stature can match up with Umar. So I think it's going to be I think it could be a good match, but I don't know how WWE is going to go with it. If Umar is then going to lose the belt to them, or if this is just going to be a belt to see how good Umos is against bigger opponents.
I like the Viking Raiders. I really, really do. I think they're a good team. I just don't know if they're ready to take on AJ and Umos yet. I just don't know if they're ready. But they're a good team. They're a couple of big guys, but they can definitely move around the ring very, very well. And like I said, I like them a lot. I just don't know because those guys are on fire right now, so to speak. And Umos is has shown to be a good catch as you can style wrestler. He might not have a lot of experience coming in, but he's doing okay for a big dude. Then AJ's just being AJ. So, I don't know if the Viking Raiders are ready for that. But I do like them as a team.
I'm forgetting the guy's name, but I don't understand why. So John Morrison and that other guy that had he was there in their solo. His tag team partner was hurt, so that's why he was not in the battle royale. I don't get why those two guys, when their tag team partner's not in it, were in that battle royale doing it solo.
Don't make no sense to me either.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what their objective is with that. I think he just stuck something in there, the placeholder with Miz and stuff, put Morrison in. They knew Morrison then won't gonna win anyway. I think they set up a few once we figure out how long Miz is going to be injured for, how long he's going to be. Yeah. So I have a feeling that they're gonna, once he gets healthy enough, they're gonna start cutting. They're gonna start seeing ties for them to start drifting away. Because at one time I've seen some reports that they want Morrison start competing for some major competing for some titles and single style and putting, the Miz, and we don't know how long Miz is going to wrestle because Miz has been handling some retirement around because of that. He's making all kinds of money with that his show, Mr. and Mrs. With Maurice and stuff like that. So we don't know exactly how long he's going to be around. So we don't know if he's going to be in any title reign or how they're going to use the Miz here in the next future, or are they just going to do like what they did with Roddy Piper when he got old, he couldn't hardly wrestle anymore, and they did the Piper's Pit. They could do Miz TV and and stuff like that. So
Miz got the best of both worlds because he doesn't have to wrestle if he doesn't want to. He's got more than enough money banked. He can do other stuff for the E, in terms of Miz TV, paid appearances, things of that nature to keep the money train going. So he's in a good spot. He doesn't need to come back to the ring.
So the next part of Raw was, the next part of the Raw was actually the Bobby Lashley and MVP, where they basically signed the contract. Now, I think outside of the ending, which I'm not going to spoil it yet, this whole contract agreement was probably my favorite part of Raw, outside of the ending.
Yeah, and I can tell you that I like it too, because now we're going to figure out if McIntyre can't win, he won't be able to have any more title shots against Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
While Lashley is world champion, so we know we're going to get another opponent in that quandrum. But also, there's been reports too that Brock Lesnar is going to be surfing back around here soon, and that tells me that Bobby Lashley is going to probably win Hell in a Cell and keep his title, because they will probably want to have Brock Lesnar compete against Bobby Lashley. That's what Bobby Lashley wants. Anyway, he wants to go up against Brock Lesnar anyway. So having Brock Lesnar go up against Bobby Lashley in a octagon, have it go up in a square circle, so they can make more money that way and beat out the UFC portion of that conundrum. So I mean, to me, you can look at it where you wanted to on this. I like the contract signing myself. I mean, he put it pretty good TV. The spoiler, the ending is good. So when we get ready to talk about the ending, I like the ending part of it. So I mean, if you look at Bobby Lashley, I think I like him as a champion right now. It was due time for him. Let him run with it for a while, because Vince is known to cut somebody's world title, short, really short.
Heck yeah.
And I mean, I think Kofi Kingston's title run was cut really, really short. I think he was in a good spot, and he was running with the world title, and everybody liked it. And then Vince decided to pull the plug on that. So I think it was a little bit too early. So I think now I think they realized that, and so they're gonna probably have Bobby Lashley keep the title for a little longer.
So the next match on Raw was Ricochet versus Humberto Carrillo.
Del Rio.
Del Rio, yeah.
Del Rio.
Now, how did you feel about that one? I'll go with William first.
It was a draw. Bruh. You want to see Monday Night Raw wait for a draw? You want to see that crap? We want to see winners. We don't want to see no draw. This is a Hey-Step Wrestling Hour. We don't bank on draws around here. We bank on wins. We bank on seeing champions win. We don't bank on draws. Come on, man. You got to do better than that.
There was one match that I'll talk about it more on it wasn't really a draw. It was more of the Mysterious won because of interference, but I'll talk more about it. I'll talk more about it on SmackDown. I have an interesting hot take, so when we get to that.
But I'm just not feeling draws. Give me a winner one way or the other.
Yeah.
One way or the other to move whatever storyline, whatever got over. Don't give me a draw, because then that tells me you're indecisive, A, on the strength of your champion, and B, are you seriously considering moving the contender and giving the contender some run? I hate draws, man. Make up your mind.
The match itself until the ending, honestly, I thought was good.
Yeah.
But the ending was not. The ending was not.
Nope.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you look at the ending and you've been watching wrestling for a while, they're setting up again for, guess what? Triple threat. Yeah, triple threat again. Yep.
Man, that's even worse than a draw. Man.
Yep. If you notice, when
to change triple threats,
Vince McMahon likes them.
I hate them.
He likes that. He likes the 4-man. He likes the 4-man. Matches against triple, double team, triple team the champion. I think it's just you don't get a clear shot who's going to be the champion. You got two other wrestlers in there who's going to beat up, but one of them is going to draw that lucky, the unlucky straw, and they're going to lose. So I mean, and then you got the champions not involved in the pin. So I mean, he don't have to be involved in the pin and stuff. And then then they you take everything else. You take the count out outside the ring out and everything else. But to me, I think it was I think should have let Ricochet go ahead and win it, and then let him have a title because he's overdue. I mean, he's done everything Vince McMahon
long
wanted.
overdue. He's long overdue.
So I think it's more like what we're looking here is, I think it's time for Ricochet to pull a mid card title and see how he does before. I think he's going to end up surprising people. And if Vince don't do something right now and then let him walk or cuts him, AEW's right down the wingspan for him, and he's gonna make Vince McMahon look silly and sick because he let him go. Well,
I keep telling y'all, WWE can't keep messing with these people like this, man. Because Ricochet is prime talent, and if he gets over to AEW, he's gonna fly over there. He's really gonna fly.
Now, I can tell you what, Hulu did not like this match either because they cut it out of their live stream. So,
Hulu,
so when I watched it this morning, that match was not in the show.
Hulu boy,
yeah.
Up next, another show that was not. Well, actually, I take that back. This one was part of the live stream. Nikki Cross and Asuka, excuse me, went up against Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. As soon as let's just say with this match, soon as we found out who the people competing in it were, I easily knew that Asuka and Nikki Cross were going to win it.
Look, all you got to do to sell me is Nikki Cross. And all you got to do to sell me. You ain't got to do nothing else. Nikki Cross. That's it. You ain't got to do nothing else to sell me. I love Nikki Cross.
I'm a huge fan of Nikki Cross as well.
I'm telling you, to me, Nikki Cross she could be either a crazy woman and she could do her character just great. I mean, if you see her in real life, she's not like what she is in the ring and stuff like that, but she can play a real crazy person. So, to me, I think this match was set up. Everybody knew that the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and Ripley is not going to get along. So I don't know why you sugarcoat and put them as a tag team together. Because, I mean, it's not going to do it because, Charlotte Flair left the ring, left her by herself, and then Nikki Cross and then picked up the win. I mean, some of these wrestling matches, you can guarantee that who's going to win by the way they match them up. And this right here was just a dead giveaway. So, I mean, to me, I think and Nikki Cross is another person I think that she look into the women's title with her either on Raw or SmackDown because her time is due too. Because if you look at some of the independent wrestlers that she's done, she's been incredible in the ring. She's not Raw. She's not, she's an independent wrestler. I mean,
she's not green by any means.
Yeah, and they try to build her out of NXT. She was already ready when she went to NXT. Yep. I mean, you could see her first time in the ring, and she showed what she needed to be done. So, you can't sell me on her coming out of NXT. She's too good about it. And when her and Alexa Bliss teamed up together, you can see the two interaction there. So to me, when we get to this part when we talk about the storyline Alexa Bliss. And I'll tell you about Nikki Cross and how she should be really used.
The thing with Nikki, she covers all three basics on what, in my opinion, what a woman's wrestler should be. She's easy on the eyes. She has the look. She has the mic skills. We've seen that countless times. And she also has the in-ring ability. A lot of ladies have one, maybe two of those, but Nikki has all three. She's something special, man. She's something special.
Now, another match that actually was cut out of Hulu.
Do not respect Hulu.
Mansoor versus Drew Gulak. So this one, I think this was Mansoor's first Raw debut. I think this was his first match in his career on Raw.
And he went with Sheamus. He did a confrontation with Sheamus.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he win his match with a roll up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
What is it with these roll-ups?
that's so weak. This weak on creative and weak by the wrestler.
Well, I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you a little history about the roll-ups. The roll-up pins were good back in the 80s because they come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere. So now everybody's done got used to it. You had these little baby face wrestlers like Eddie Guerrero. Before he became Eddie Guerrero, like we know him as, he was a jobber in WCW, and he always pulled the roll up pin and to win. And he win at any cost, and that's what he was billed as. And that's when we first saw these roll up pins. Another thing that we don't see anymore, the roll up pins got to go bye because that's back in the 80s and stuff like that. Yeah. So I mean, you can't use that as a victory, and they try to use it sometimes. But if you do it correctly, it's good. But if you don't do it correctly, like this match here wasn't done correctly. I mean, you got to do it out of nowhere. You got to roll that pin up out of nowhere, and you just can't roll it up like the way he did it. Because it's too predictable.
Now, one match that I forgot to mention before we actually go on to this next one, Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander. Now,
I kind of figured Cedric was going to put him over, and he did.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but still.
Yes, there is something wrong with that.
It's freaking Jeff Hardy. But at the end of the day, I would kind of like to see Jeff pay it back or pay it forward just a little bit and let Cedric get the win there. But
well, I can tell you a little bit about this. When Alexander was on the independent tour, Jeff Hardy was on the independent tour, and they battled each other on the independent circuit. Well, this payback was because Jeff Hardy did put Cedric Alexander over him in the independent wrestling when he first came out. This was just a payback from that to Jeff Hardy, and that's why they did that, because he's paying homage back to what he did for him in the beginning of his wrestling career.
Gotcha.
And next, like the last match of the night, but not the last thing we need to talk about for Monday Night Raw, Riddle versus Kofi Kingston. And to be honest,
you were kind of shocked Kofi went over, weren't you? You were kind of shocked.
A little bit.
Because the way they've been pushing Riddle, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Kofi, but you kind of thought Riddle would have got the win here. Because Riddle is over. I'll give him that. He's over.
I mean, it wasn't like...
It's all about the storyline.
That's true, too.
Okay, so yes, I thought Riddle was going to win. No, I wasn't really actually surprised, because when has Kofi Kingston ever lost a match when Xavier Woods blows his trombone?
Been a while.
Yeah, been a minute.
It's been a while.
And now the way he lost, I did not. The way he lost was a shock, but I did not. I wasn't surprised at all.
Man, y'all think they're trying to give Kofi another run?
Yep.
I think that's what it feels like. They're trying to give Kofi another run.
Then have him win against Drew McIntyre.
That's what it seemed like.
I think they're trying to get him another run, but also I think with the storyline with Riddle and Orton, they're trying to force feed that in there, because Randy Orton requested to work with Riddle, so they're trying to set up some kind of either a tag team or have Randy Orton at the end turn on him, and then they do a battle that way. Yeah. See, to get Riddle over, that's why they had to do Randy Orton the way they're doing, because Randy Orton's trying to put him over to big enough to where he could probably end up turning on him and then spicing up the storyline with them two, because I think them two have great chemistry together. When they did that one battle that one time, the chemistry is together. And I think the chemistry is being built right now. And that's why you see Kofi Kingston winning. And also the storyline with Kofi Kingston when he was going up against, in the battles with Bobby Lashley. So you don't want to make Kofi Kingston look too weak if they're going to push him to a world champion. So you had to make this issue here with make Riddle look good, but make Kofi Kingston still look good too. And that's why you see Kofi Kingston winning, because Vince McMahon really likes Kofi Kingston. That's why they kept him around for a while, and that's why they keep him the New Day. And I have a feeling, because Big E don't have since all these cuts came up, Big E don't have nothing going on over in SmackDown. I won't be surprised if you see Big E and the New Day get back all together and form that big 3-man tag.
He might come back with them flapjacks.
Mm-hmm. Now it comes to the best part. Best for last, at least for this episode. And for the first time in a long time, I honestly think Raw, just because of this ending, was better since we last did the show than SmackDown. And that is just because of this ending. Shayna Baszler joins Alexa's playground. The two are not getting along, and Shayna's being mean, and all of a sudden it's like really scary for her. And all of a sudden, Alexa has this weird stuff, and she's all haunted for Shayna Baszler. Now, my prediction is I think Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler are going to have a tag team because Shayna Baszler is getting corrupted.
Right, I'm gonna ask you. You think that'd be a good team?
Huh?
You think that'd be a good team? I don't think so either.
No. This is the problem right here with this storyline, and I'm gonna break what I was telling you about. And I hit it around the bush when we talked about Nikki Cross. Who you thought was holding the Lily doll when she was in that room, when they brought her the Lily doll in the mirror? Who you thought was holding that? Nikki Cross.
Ooh.
There's been talk that they're bringing back Sasha Banks, gonna probably be the manager, and then Nikki Cross is gonna be the person that they use as Lily. Because Nikki Cross is hurt. It's been what we have seen in Orlando, and what my buddy has seen in Orlando as an Uber driver that he has seen Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, all there at the same time getting work in.
Oh no!
So at one time, Sasha Banks has come out and said that she wouldn't mind being a manager. So she's going to end up probably being a tag team with her. Nikki Cross is going to play the doll when the doll comes to life. So don't be surprised you see all three of them together.
My only question with that is, what would be the purpose of Nikki Cross in the storyline that they're using for her now?
She's going to be the doll. When the doll comes to life to wrestle, she's going to be the doll.
No, I was talking about with the tag team that happened on Raw yesterday. That storyline with the.
She's just being used to being a placeholder because they don't have too many wrestlers after they let go a lot of female wrestlers. So they had to come up with something. So all she's being used and Asuka's being used right now as a placeholder because that battle between Ripley and Charlotte Flair is going to be the main repertoire of the women's champion. So they got to have a place there, and then they got to have something to keep you occupied, not keep your feature on Nikki Cross when they decide to bring her back as Lily. So that's been rumors around. We don't know if it's true or not. We haven't really got it confirmed, but we have got confirmation that all three of them were in the WWE Performance Center on Saturday.
Wow. Now, I have no problem to see Sasha Banks coming back as a manager. I have no problem with that. It keeps her healthy and it can prolong her career. So I have no problem with her coming back as manager at all. At all. I ain't mad about it, boy. Ooh, that's some news right there, Ray. That's some news.
Wow.
Man.
All three of them have been spotted in the Performance Center on Saturday all together.
Boy.
We're gonna go with SmackDown next, and then we're gonna go with AEW. So with SmackDown, I guess I'll go with the first part of the tag team match between the Mysterios and the Usos.
Oh, you mean the first match? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the first tag team match.
Gotcha.
The first tag team. And the winner of that one ends up being the Mysterios. How long do you think that's going to end? Well, kind of. It was Mysterios, but it was off of a ref making a mistake. So how long do you think that the Mysterios are going to end up having this tag team?
I don't think it'll be long.
Not long.
They remind me, they're transitional champions. And I don't think they'll have the belts too much longer.
They did those champions as being the first ever father and son tag team champions in WWE. They built that storyline, but they're also building a backstory line right now. And if you haven't noticed the backstory line, I'm gonna drop this little tidbit I found. The backstory line is gonna be Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio at Hell in a Cell for the universe, well, his title, the heavyweight title.
Who wants to see that though?
Well, it could be Mysterio's last run.
Yeah,
before he retires.
Yeah, you pay homage to Mysterio. You take the belt off Roman. You could kill the head of but you can keep that. And when you take the belt off of him, you kill the head of the table gimmick, which is the best benefit ever. So I'm down with that.
Yeah, and the Usos are going to come back and be tag. I have a feeling the Usos are going to end up being World Tag Team title, and I have a feeling that somehow they're going to interfere in that match and awarded the win to Rey Mysterio just to get this head of the table, thing. It also could tell how Paul Heyman leaves Roman Reigns and ends back over with Brock Lesnar when he shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And without having them two to fight, because Brock Lesnar's already came out publicly and said he does not want to fight Roman Reigns again. He does not want to be in that storyline with Paul, Paul E and all. And so I have a feeling Paul Heyman is going to end up as that Rey Mysterio Hell in a Cell if they bring back Brock Lesnar after Hell in a Cell. I have a feeling they're going to transition out of that and somehow they work a storyline where Paul Heyman leaves Roman Reigns, goes back to Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar is not a mouth. He cannot cut a promo, and they got to have him back with him to cut them promos. So,
well, then that goes my hot take.
Yeah.
I say that because next week I feel like there's going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match, Mysterios versus Roman Reigns.
The thing that shocked me was that I was kind of shocked the Usos didn't win on SmackDown, because if the Usos won on SmackDown and put the belts on them, then it makes this head of the table crap maybe a little bit more believable. But I just want it to end.
To me, he's saying Ray deserves it. Ray deserves another run as the world's title. This guy has put in. He's put in work. He put in work. He started wrestling when he was 16, a little bit earlier than that, but he started. He was in WCW. He was in WCW at age 16 years old, and he was putting people over. He was doing all these stuff, and he's been in wrestling a long time. But he's well deserved another run for the world title. And I think when they're going to try to do it, if they put him on him, it's going to probably be a Rey Mysterio with an Eddie Guerrero type of theme.
And hey, Ray never got his rematch against John Cena.
Nope.
So this would be perfect to give him his payback and send him off in a good way. He's Hall of Fame bound either way. Right.
He's been in wrestling. He's Mexican wrestling all the way up to being in independent wrestling, all the way being into NWA, WCW, WWE. He has done it all, and he deserves his accolades because he's put his time in. He's done everything he needed to be done. He's done what Vince McMahon asked him to. He's been, off and on. He even lost his mask in WCW. And when you're asking a Mexican wrestler to lose his mask,
That's a huge deal.
That's a big, huge deal. But the way they did it, and I understand the way they did it, and they went to the actual Mexican council when they did that part, they had to get their approval for it. And when they gave him that blessing for it, then that's when it happened. But Ray was always his Mexican heritage. He didn't want to lose the mask. And, sometimes they were trying to make him lose his mask, and he had another mask underneath.
Yep.
So when they finally got the Mexican council, approved this, they went on ahead and he lost his mask. But his history and stuff like that, I think by him beating his first title match, him being a bigger wrestler, it won't be surprised us if he beats Roman Reigns because he's used to being a bigger wrestler. So
right, beat Kevin Nash years ago.
Yeah.
And the reason why I had my hot take, I thought it was going to be the reason why I thought that was going to happen about the 2-on-1 handicap match, because of the interference, and I also heard a rumor that Dominic was going to be the one to take the belt off of Roman Reigns.
No, it wouldn't be believable.
That doesn't benefit anybody.
No, it doesn't believe it because he's only been in WWE for a short period of time, and it won't make realistic for him to do it because then you really take Ricochet right out of the thing because Ricochet's been there longer. Ricochet's been in wrestling longer, and he hasn't had a title. And Mysterio's son has a title, but I understand why they put the tag team titles on it because they want to have him be the first. Have him be the first father and son and give him a little bit of excellence, gives Dominic a little bit of name recognition with him and his father being, in the title hunt. So, but I think everything is setting up for Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns because you can see where it gravitated when Rey Mysterio got the most beat down out of between him and Dominic. So,
and I just think that I want to see his head of the table thing go. Roman need to lose. Paul Heyman need to go back to Brock. The Usos need to go back to being tag team champions. And all will be right in the world. But until you fix this head of the table crap, it's not going to be right. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Up next is Carmella versus Liv Morgan.
Mad about that one, boy.
That one, Carmella defeated Liv Morgan. I liked the match. I just didn't like the backstory, to be honest.
I didn't like the winner. First of all, you screwed with her by taking her tag team partner away. Now you got her losing to Carmella. I think Liv Worker is a better worker than Carmella. And now you have her losing. And how does Carmella get all these benefits? She beat Asuka, gave Asuka a rare loss, wrestles Sasha in a main event. She loses that. Now she bounces back and wins this? God. What benefit?
I heard a rumor that they're actually going to cut Liv Morgan.
Yep.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Yep.
I don't either, but I hope.
I have a feeling if they do, I have a feeling that little organization over here in Jacksonville right now called AEW, gonna bring Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan and Sarah back together and form their own little fashion in AEW. That's the big side because if you look at Liv Morgan, and I don't know if y'all have seen what's going on with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan has been I follow her on Twitter. She has been putting videos out of her doing all kinds of different moves and stuff, like flipping over the top rope, landing on top of somebody, and hitting different moves on them. And I mean, she's very athletic. She proves her craft every time. She's proven her worth, and they just don't know how to use her. And getting rid of all her friends is not helping any. And you can see the telling end of the tape because Carmella beat her. I think she's way better than Carmella is. Carmella is just there because she went out and got her, fake boobs and everything else that Vince wanted, and that's all that is. So
he said it before I could. Oh my goodness.
I mean, if you watch wrestling long enough and these girls doing what they, what the boss wants them to do, they're going to get the more accolades than Liv Morgan, because they asked Liv Morgan to do the, getting her top part fixed up and stuff like that. And she said she wouldn't do it because it would be hurting her back. And I understand, because if you do get them, girls got different traits in their backs, and it could really hurt that damage in their wrestling career too. So.
That's why Carmella is running, because look at who she's dating. So up next, it wasn't really a match. The next part of it was a match. It wasn't a match, and then that's when they confirmed that Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio had that match was off of a ref mistake. But after that, Bianca Belair lays out a challenge to Bayley to wrestle her in Hell in a Cell.
I like where that's going. I like where that storyline is going. Bayley is playing it perfect. She is playing it perfect. Again, another one of those ladies that fits in, my three categories. You got to be, kind of easy on the eyes there. You got to be able to hold your own on the mic, and you got to be able to do it in the ring. But she's one of the few that can do all three, and she is doing a fantastic job. And I cannot wait to see those two ladies square off in the ring.
I can't either.
Yeah, so I mean, Bayley is just consummate, perfection to her craft. I mean, she can do anything. She puts her mind to it. Yep. And you can see it. She's been around the wrestling business for a while. She always wanted to be a WWE wrestler, and she's proven to live her things. You can see her transition from the fun-loving character to the heel character to now, and doing her little doorbell ding dong talk show. I mean, she's perfection. Everything else. And when she works as a profession. She doesn't take everything literally. When they have, thrown out of the friendship with Sasha Banks, they're still friends and off the camera. But they still, they still attack each other. And the way she's building up with Belair, because she's got to help Belair out too, because Belair is still kind of fresh, coming into this type of business. I mean, her husband is from the Street Profits. Yep. So I mean, she's still a little bit of Raw, but I mean, I like the way they put the belt on her and stuff like that. And I like the way Bayley and the storyline is developing. If they just keep slow playing the develop of the storyline, then everybody's gonna start believing in the storyline. And that when that big thing happens at the end, if they do put the belt back on Bayley, then nobody's gonna be surprised, because you've seen the build up.
Yep.
So next step after that, King Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown. Even though King Corbin won the match, he still lost his crown, and Shinsuke has this match is starting to get annoying. Let's just say that.
They need to take that crown and just crush it. Put it in the. They need to have Sting. They need to have Sting show up in a trash trunk and take the crown and put it in the trash trunk. I mean, the crown. The only person that wears a crown is Jerry the King Lawler. You just can't keep taking this gimmick and stuff like that, because it doesn't work. Right. Jerry the King Lawler is the only one that can make that gimmick work, and Harley Race. Those are the only two that can actually make the King work. Stone Cold, he played the King of the Ring for a little bit. He made it work a little bit, but he got rid of that real quick, because, Corbin, I think the way they're using Corbin is totally a waste of his talent. They should bring back the Lone Wolf character coming right out of NXT, because he made that character work, and they just made him look weak.
Now, don't forget King Booker. Don't forget King Booker. He did his thing for a little bit too. It wasn't long.
Yeah, certain people can do it, But I mean,
But they're
Jerry
not
King,
a pro. But Jared is
Jerry
more
King and Harley Race.
Yep.
They're the only two kings that can actually pull that king character out. So I think Corbin. I think the way they're using Corbin is just making him look bad.
Oh yeah.
I think his lone wolf character was great coming in. I think Vince McMahon should have kept it. You know, let him be the lone wolf and let him run that character because he was running pretty good in NXT. I mean, he was unstoppable in NXT. And then all of a sudden, you put him on the main roster, and what happened? You know, he started out being unstoppable. Now he's being a weak because he's been losing here lately. You know, and I think it's time for him to change their mind and stuff. So.
Someone in the chat said, "Oh yeah, there you go, you got it." But my thing with Corbin, he's too gifted physically to be treated like to be like this. He's too physically talented.
Mm-hmm.
You said it best. You said it best. Where he was kicking tail over in NXT, and now he's being treated like this.
I mean, look at him and Roman Reigns, and that sequence him and Roman Reigns did. That was a great sequence. I mean, he handled his own with Roman Reigns. Yeah, he might have lost some here, but he did win some. And putting the dog food on each other, and that was great. But all of a sudden now, when that segment ended, that series ended, they put him back on this little king high horse thing and having him wear a king and saying he's King Corbin and all this stuff. And it doesn't work for him because we all know him from NXT as the lone wolf. We've seen his character and stuff like that. So what do you do to get King, get him back? Take that freaking crown off, make him go away for like a couple, like a month or so, get his lone wolf character back up, and then build him slowly back up as that dominant character.
Yep.
Now, I just want to say one thing: if his gimmick is King Corbin and he has a crown and all this kind of stuff, why does he not have a belt on him?
He ain't king enough.
Exactly.
He ain't king enough.
Exactly.
He ain't king enough to knock off Roman like that.
Nope. They see all about Corbin is if he go up against Roman Reigns, nobody's gonna believe because he's been pulled as a weak guy. He's been pulled as a weak guy. You like Shingo Nakamura beating him up. Yep. He won the match, but he still had him take the crown for what?
Right.
I mean, that crown ain't significant about anything. He won the king. He won the King of the Ring, thing, and it made him king. And then now, as people made king like Booker and Stone Cold, they had the crown for a while. Walked around and all this prestige and stuff. But then they got old and they got rid of it. And they knew when to leave it alone. WWE is bringing this freaking King Corbin. So to me, if they let Corbin go, because eventually they're gonna have to let him go if they're not gonna put no title on him because he's gonna be stale and ain't nobody gonna watch. And then when you could tell as they let too many wrestlers go because they had a Mysterio battle twice on the show because they're running out of wrestlers. They're running out of things. They let too many wrestlers go, and when you build up a certain character like Strowman, you bring them up and then you bury him. Then next thing you know, you get rid of them. And WWE, I don't know what Vince is doing. I think Vince is trying to sell the WWE right out of his family's thing. But I think Triple H has enough money to stop it. And
I heard NBC.
Yeah, so they
I heard Amazon.
I don't know. Amazon guys, he's trying to fly to the moon right now. He got too much money. Him and his brother gonna be flying some kind of ship out of space or something. I mean, this guy's got too much money. I mean, don't pay no taxes on it. So if he's got enough money to buy it because ain't nobody gonna be able to match him.
Many on the moon. There you go.
Yeah.
So next match is probably my least favorite match of the night. Kevin Owens versus Apollo Cruz. I didn't like the match because of the beginning, to be honest. They pretty much Kevin Owens just got beat up, and now you're expecting a beat up Kevin Owens to go out in the match and face Apollo Cruz, and it was just pretty much one-sided for me. Too one-sided, and they should have put Kevin Owens and gave him that title shot, and he should have won that way.
First of all, they've done so much disrespect to Apollo Crews. It ain't freaking funny. he came in as from the Indies as a fan favorite. Look at him now. The man getting booed out of his mind. And most heels you could say, well, they're doing a good job. Nah, this isn't him doing a good job at all. This is just him. He's not a heel. He's not a heel. He doesn't have a heel persona. You got to have a heel persona to be a heel. He doesn't have that. The WWE is just doing him wrong in so many ways. It makes me upset. I wish it would just take him back to being a babyface, putting a title on him, letting him go from there. You didn't have to turn him.
Yeah, what Apollo Cruz, man, is his persona, his character. We know him as a fun-loving kind of guy. He's always smiling and stuff like that. And then you put a Nigerian accent on him out of nowhere. He had no kind of accent when he was in there. I mean, I understand if he would have been talking like some kind of Nigerian accent at the beginning when he came in, then you could probably pull that off. But to me, I lost it once they put that Nigerian accent and put him with the big guy supposed to be his chief or something. I think it's just because it basically was made out to be him and Big E, and then somehow they just took Big E and moved him somewhere else out of the scene. So I mean, that's just a wasted character. And then he just can't. He's not a believable heel.
No,
put it this way, he's not a believable heel. He, like Dusty Rhodes, he was a good American guy, but Dusty Rhodes also could fool you and play a mean heel too. So I seen him play both sides of the field, and he could do it good. Ric Flair could do it good. Ric Flair could play either good or a heel. That's the type of characters that you see. Apollo Cruz has got none of that charisma. John Cena could play both a heel and a good. But Vince McMahon always, because John Cena was Vince McMahon cash cow for a long time. And then, Stone Cold could play a good heel, but, people didn't like, he could play a heel, but people are still going to cheer for him because everybody liked Stone Cold. That's just his character. I mean, everybody felt for him. He believed his character. And you got these wrestlers now that you don't believe in none of their characters. Like, Baron Corbin, I can't believe him being a 6'7" big kind of guy. And he's running around with a freaking crown on, calling himself king. Come on, man. He's badass. He's a lone wolf type character. Right. You gotta feel the character. And some of the stuff they put on these guys, you don't feel. And with Apollo Cruz, I don't feel it because Apollo Cruz never had an accent. Now he's got an accent. You got to make stuff believable, and fans are going to tune away from it. I like his performance in the ring. He's a great athlete and stuff like that. But I don't like his character. I don't like his persona because he's not a heel. My issue is, does Apollo Cruz believe he's a heel? No, because I'm gonna take something I heard Michael P.S. Hayes say about a year or so ago back. When a wrestler believes in his character, that's when that character truly takes off. That's when that character truly goes over. And I don't think Apollo Cruz believes he's a heel. He don't live his character. You can tell he don't live his character because if you watch him when these wrestlers, and I'm gonna tell you a prime example. If you ever go to a wrestling event, you always go find where they come out at. And you can tell which their characters are really a heel or not. I can tell you when Ric Flair played a heel. When Ric Flair came out, Ric Flair didn't sign no autographs. Ric Flair, he threw a middle finger at you. He played his character all the way through till he went. Till you couldn't see him no more. Until he went home. When he went home, he's the nicest guy. You can't tell because he's not out in public. But when he's in public, dude, you go up and ask for his autograph. He'd throw you off. He wanted that character, but he believed in his character. Yep. Apollo Cruz don't believe in his character. Jeff Hardy, he believes in his character. He believes he's the Enigma. He lives his character by the way he carries himself outside the ring, the way he puts his mask and stuff on. So when you don't believe in your character, and I'm gonna tell you, Michael PSA, this guy was awesome. He did come up and sign autographs, but then the next day you see him out there, he might be flipping you off, or because he believed in what he's doing. He's even I have seen a special on Michael PSA. He told his friends, he says, "Hey, me as this person. Don't kayfabe me on any of these social medias because I'm playing this bad guy. I'm playing this thing. I'm playing all this right now. I'm behind the scenes, but I'm playing that behind the scene heel kind of guy. He's writing all the heels, personas and stuff. So he believes in what he's doing, but if he's being a good guy, he'll sign the autographs and stuff like that. But Dusty Rhodes believed he was the American dream, and that's the way he lived. Magnum TA, the same thing when he was doing the Road Warriors. Definitely the Road Warriors.
The Hitman Bret Hart.
He played this Owen Hart. He played his persona very well because I met Owen Hart a couple of times. When he was a good guy, he come up shake my hand. The same time when he turned bad, he just started faking people off. So they all live their characters by themselves. John Cena he lived his character, but when he goes to these events, he's not his character. Sometimes if he's in a suit, he could put his character away and everybody still can believe and stuff like that. But see, what thing about John Cena is he was a good guy, but still getting booed, but he liked it because he knew how to keep the fans entertainment. And if you go back and look at a clip on Miz talks about it great. He says that when him and John Cena got in a feud, that was the best thing to ever happen to him because when John Cena's in the match with him, he's telling him, hey, look, you're going too early. Listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd. John Cena was great about it because he knew when the crowd was going to be ill, and he knew when the crowd needs to be, let down. So, I mean, that's type of kind of characters you got, and that's who gets over. But, right now, Apollo Cruz is not getting over because I don't believe in his character.
Yeah, I don't either. So we already talked a little bit about the last match, which was the second match between Dominic and Rey Mysterio and the Usos. That one ended up in an interference, and like I said, I gave my hot take about next week there being a 2-on-1 handicap match, Mysterios versus Mysterios versus Roman Reigns.
See, now I like that idea for one or two reasons. Why? It also could put the Usos in an advantage where they can go down there and laugh at Roman Reigns because he's getting his butt whooped by the two guys, or they can go in and join in with the Mysterios and still whoop them, and then all of a sudden the head of the table is gone. I don't like that. I understand Vince McMahon likes the head of the table gimmick because it kind of portrays him because he's the head of the table. Everything's got to run through Vince McMahon. I understand that part, but it's time for that head of the table to go because it doesn't serve its purpose because we're not Samoans. Samoans are the ones who got the tribal. We don't have a tribal. We don't live by a Samoan code. We don't live by a tribal thing. We don't have tattoos that means family history, what they have on their stuff like The Rock and stuff like that. So this doesn't tell us. If they had a lot of Samoan wrestlers, about like back in the day when, with Sika, the Wild Samoans and all them, yeah, then this gimmick could work because they have a lot of Samoans in it. But now you talk about other wrestlers. Who are they head of the table of? They're not the head of the table of me. Yeah, Roman Reigns is good, but I mean, not in this gimmick. You need to put him in another gimmick. You need to put him in another storyline.
Heck, if you want the crown to still exist, put on Roman Reigns to be the leader. Why don't you put the crown on Roman Reigns and have him
King Roman? King Roman.
I'm kidding.
King Roman, boy.
All right, so
that's like picking your poison.
So the last segment is actually talking a little bit about AEW. The first up, we do have the match card, I should say, as announced for Friday's show. AEW's Tag Team Championship match: the Young Bucks versus PAC and Penta El Zero Miedo. Well, actually, they announced all the matches for Friday's show.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a tag team match: the Death Triangle versus the Young Bucks. The result was the Young Bucks defeated the Death Triangle. And reading this actually online, they gave this match a B+ as their grade. Would you agree with that, or do you think it was higher or lower? Or what?
Oh, the Young Bucks. I like the Young Bucks, but their characters got stale, so they spiced it up with this new stuff. So I think they are. I think their grade of the match is pretty good, but I mean the match was excellent. I
don't mean to cut you off, Ray, but I'm just referring to these. Roman is not awesome. At least not in this gimmick, he's not.
No. I mean, but getting back to what we're talking about here with the Young Bucks, I like the way they are portraying the Young Bucks. I like the Young Bucks teaming, going with the Kenny Omega and all that, creating this fashion style. I think it was pretty good, pretty cool idea. Change their hairstyle, change their wardrobes because that wardrobe is getting back in the back. I think their wardrobes back in the 80s, like with the Rock and Roll Express and all that stuff.
And the
So
Rockers.
yeah, and so, but I mean, to me, I think the match was good. It was excellent. I think they both all played the parts when they need to be played, and I think we might see the Young Bucks, being tag team champions for a little while.
Yeah, the young Bucks did a good job of reinventing themselves, so to speak, and we'll see if they can get the tag team title picture.
And then after that, Mark Henry speaks, and Andrade I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. IDOLO.
Yeah, it's Andrade from WWE.
Oh,
Yeah.
They put Andrade and then put some bunch of letters behind it, make another name out of it. But I didn't like the way Vicky Guerrero came and interrupted Mark Henry. I think that was kind of, not the way, that was rude and stuff like that. But I understand that. But I understand that, Vicky Guerrero and Mark Henry had a thing in WWE. So, that kind of fits too, because we knew about the feud in WWE and stuff like that and stuff. So, I kind of figured how they were going to do that. But I mean, Andrade, shows up, I don't know how they're going to work with him. And I think Vicky's going to probably be like a spokesman for him for a little while until he decides to get rid of her, because I'm tired of hearing her mouth. But,
excuse me. I said, excuse me.
excuse me. Oh man.
That's funny. The next step was another tag team match: Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson versus QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. And the winner of this was Ogogo, and Marshall defeated Rhodes and Johnson. They gave this grade a C.
Yeah, because we all knew what was coming.
Yeah, William, do you have anything to add on this?
No, it just Cody Rhodes pushing over QT Marshall, pushing over the other side of the factory and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's just a pushover.
I felt bad. I felt bad for Eddie when he was married to Vicky. And
you imagine her telling him to take out the trash? Excuse me, Eddie. Excuse me.
No, Eddie probably stole the trash. Probably stole a car too, or a wig and everything else.
You lie, we cheat, we steal.
After that was the inner circle victory lap. So it wasn't really a match, but what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, the inner circle is the inner circle. We got Jericho and all that, and the Pinnacle. I don't know why they put the Pinnacle together, because they only won like one match out of two against the inner circle. I mean, it just wasted of another fashion style. I don't know what they trying to pin up with that and stuff. So I think that's just I don't know. They're just getting a second stampede. I mean, the match was great when they the second stadium stampede and stuff like that. It was very entertaining and stuff like that. So I just think that just giving the inner circle some time and just playing off. To me, I think the Pinnacle just needed to go and disband and have them go back to what they need to be doing. So I mean, the inner circle is the inner circle.
Pretty much.
Okay. So up next is Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy Christian Cage and the Jungle Boy versus the Private Party. I know how you guys hate about triple threat matches. That was not a triple threat match. That was another tag team Another tag team match, and the winner of this one was Jungle Boy and Cage defeated the Private Party.
Right. Yeah, Jungle Boy and them defeated. I like Jungle Boy. I mean, I like
I ain't got
that.
no problem with Jungle Boy.
Yeah, I like him. And I like the little one too. I think one of them is Luke Perry's from 902 Beverly Hills 90210.
His son. Yeah.
His son and stuff. So I like that Jurassic characters and stuff like that. That other guy who puts the Jurassic mask on, he was a former WWE NXT star. He never got put over in WWE, but they bring him over to AEW. He's been put over with that gimmick he's got. So I understand that. I like Jungle Boy. I like Cage and all that, stuff like that. And Private Party, they're up and coming tag team. So.
Oh yeah.
Up next is Red Velvet versus The Bunny, not Bad Bunny. The Bunny.
The Bunny.
this one, the Red Velvet defeated The Bunny. They gave this grade a C+. So, William, what are your thoughts on this match?
Well, the Bunny. The Bunny was with the Blade and Matt Hardy. I think Velvet is just too much over right now, and I don't understand this Bunny part. It was just waste. I'd rather see Red Velvet versus Cahill. That's a better match than this match between the Bunny. I don't even know who the Bunny really is. I mean, she only been on there once or twice, and then you're putting up against Red Velvet. I mean, Cahill would be a better chance with Red Velvet, and it's more believable match than this.
Right.
I think this is just a space over match that was just, not really good at the beginning.
I like Red Velvet though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put Red Velvet with somebody else, yeah, not with this Bunny characters.
Right.
I mean, Red Velvet had to carry the match. I mean, if you look at it, she was calling the match. Bunny never stepped in and called her portion. And then, if you look at wrestling, when they call their matches, John Cena calls a match, and then The Rock called the same match in the match too. So the two wrestlers are calling the same matches. You can see the chemistry, you can see what they're coming from. But This match right here, Red Velvet was the only one talking the whole match and trying to put her over, and it never happened. And this match was just a fall through. And it's nothing bad on Red Velvet's part. It's just the bad that the competition she had that is not really good.
Yeah.
And then the last match was Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Komodo. And the winner of this one was Rhodes, defeated Komodo. And they gave this grade a C-.
I mean, it could have been a little higher. I understand it's a C- match, but again, it was Dustin Rhodes and this other guy here. They try to, make it a top tier match. I mean, Dustin Rhodes still got it. I mean, I don't care his age and stuff. He still got it. He still got the charisma. He still got the working. He's a workaholic.
How old is he now?
I don't know. I can find out real quick. I think he's about. I want to say he's about my age. Let's say. I'll just find it real quick. Let's here. Let's see how old is Dustin Rhodes here. Get on his Wikipedia page. Dustin Rhodes he's 52.
Okay.
He was born in 1969.
Okay.
So he's about 3 years older than me.
Okay.
He just turned 52. So
Cool.
So that is all the matches from Raw, from SmackDown, from AEW. Now, one last question before we give this a close. Between Raw, SmackDown, and AEW, what was the best match of the weekend?
best match of the week. Well, to me, I'm partially because I like Baker. I like her partially, but to me, the best is not a match. It's got to be Alexis Bliss's segment.
Can I go to somewhere we didn't talk about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to give a quick shout out to NWA Power. They're like an hour and a half away from me here in Georgia. And I want to give a big shout out to Camille for winning the NWA Women's Championship. Big shout out for her. She's worked hard. She's been all this manager, valet, enforcer for a very long time. And for her to have the title down there, huge news, and congrats to her, man.
Where they do NWA at now? In Georgia.
I thought it's in Atlanta.
It isn't.
Mm-hmm. It's in Atlanta, GA.
It's not back in the old. It's not back in the old basement of the of CNN, is it?
Mm-mm.
Where they used to have WCW Saturday night.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. And I need to go. I keep procrastinating, but I really need to go catch a show. Like I said, it's nothing but 2.5 hours away from me.
Because Mickey James's husband wrestles in that.
Yeah, Nick Aldis. Mm-hmm. Yep. And they're about to produce a show, from what I understand, all women's show.
Yeah,
she's going to be she's going to be the main producer on it.
They used to have an all women's show called the Globe.
Remember
Wrestling?
Glow? They still do with Shimmer. Shimmer's still doing his thing. Shine is on and off.
I like when Ivory was Bambi.
Yep. And Ember Moon was the wrestling goddess Athena back in those old Shimmer days. So
yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, before we go, we want to start a segment next week. We want to go back and talk about old wrestlers back in the day, and we'd like to start featuring one wrestler, each episode. So, we'll go back and start it out with, we'll find an old wrestler that we haven't seen in a while or haven't talked about in a while, who's probably passed away or something. But I like to bring back some of their focus in some of the matches. And we have kids, guys like my age, wants to understand about old wrestling and stuff like that and the different styles and stuff. So I thought maybe we all, next week come up with one wrestler back in the past and talk about it.
Well, Chief Wahoo McDaniel, if y'all don't talk about that man, give that man some love.
My man is Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant.
I remember Jimmy Valiant.
Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
Yep, him too.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what. I saw Chief Wahoo McDaniels. He came in my hometown. We had a local fair, and he set up a wrestling ring on a freaking trailer. And getting this man up on a trailer is so funny because they didn't have stairs to go up to the ring. They didn't have it on the thing. They had to put it on a trailer because they had to have it high up. This dude, they had brought him in on a forklift. And had him sit down on the forklift and lift him up and put him in the ring. But it didn't faze the dude. He did his war chant. He did all this stuff, put on a great show. He always put on a great show. And then the match was him and Abdullah the Butcher. So guess what? They had to bring another forklift, put Abdullah the Butcher in the ring. And they did this thing. They had to reinforce the trailer and everything the ring was on. It was a class act match, and Abdullah had that foreign object he always pull out, and he did it on him, and it was just an awesome time. And then after the match, you got to meet him, so that's great back in the old days. I mean, the old wrestlings that I went to was back in the Army, back in high school wrestling gyms and stuff like that. And I mean, they had some big names. Like when I first met the Rock and Roll Express, it wasn't Rock and Roll Express and thing. It was them in a high school gym. And it was only about 4,000. It was not even 4,000. I think it was about 300 people in the stadium. And they put on a great show. And I mean, everybody left with the good. And that's back in the old days. That's why I want to talk about where we watched wrestling at back in the old days and stuff like that. Not in these big stadiums when they bought them in the big stadium. The first big stadium matches that I seen was in Greensboro when WCW brought Starrcade out when Ric Flair versus Harley Race was the main event. And that was in the Greensboro Coliseum. And I can remember that to the day. That was the first wrestling match I ever went to and saw in person. And it was a great show. And then the one that I really saw was in the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was a big, small arena, about 4,000 people at the state fairground. And Paul Jones spit in my face. I was sitting at ringside getting on his case. Him and the Barbarian and the Warlord versus Road Warriors. Dude actually turned around and spit in my face.
Wow.
And
you can't get away with that now.
I was 15 years old. He spit in my face, and I had to hold my dad down. My dad went to me. My dad was about to jump over. My dad was like 480 pounds. He was about to jump over the thing and get to him and beat him down for doing that, and they had to hold him back and stuff like that. So, but when that word that he actually spit in my face, that's when I got to make Ric Flair, because Ric Flair knew about what happened. He said I was disgraced. He wanted to make it up to me, so he actually had his person sought me out and brought me backstage to see him. And so, stuff like that is fun, because back in the days you can actually go back and see him all at the Waffle House. After the match, they go to Waffle House and you sit there and eat, and you go in there and watch them react to each other and they talk to you. I mean, it's just personal, back in the day, and it's a little bit better than what you got now. So, I thought, we all should each go out and search a wrestler that we, back in the old days, and we just talk about it.
So I want to say one thing though. A while back we had this dude on he made a guest appearance. We had Duke the Dumpster Jersey make a guest appearance here on the network. So that was I think that's the only wrestler that I've met. I don't want to say in person, but over the video. So so that is all that I have. This has been Ray Cruz, Nate the Great, and William Morgan signing out. We'll see you next week.
Excuse me.